if you could, don't try not to sit in a seat with your back, like to the front. Just so you can kind of see what's going on. I think that would be helpful.
Do you need me, Nora?
Just come to the restroom.
Yeah.
I love your
Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, that works out. I was gonna have two groups of 6. For some reason I thought we had more people in this. I'm Mr. Parsons, by the way, if you don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool, that works. So you guys finished Antigone, right? Yeah. How was it? Sad. Disgusting. A little difficult to read. I reread it as you guys were, and I hadn't read it since I was probably about your age. And I found myself looking up a lot of things. You know, do you guys ever read like a summary alongside or anything to help you unpack? I think that's helpful. Even I do that. I do that a lot at OU too. So one thing you guys have been talking about and keeping track of as you've gone through Antigone are themes, right? So, do you guys have any annotations? I would say go ahead and get those out. Just because you'll use them today. They'll be very helpful for the activity today. Do you mind if I erase this? Is that okay?
No, go for it. Yes.
So, what I would like to do today, you're going to be working in your groups almost exclusively. We'll have full group discussion, but you're going to be working with the people. Are you missing people? Is this weird? Maybe this is just normal. But you have groups of 3 or 2 here, I guess. But you're going to work inside of your groups. And what I want to do before we hop into what I want to talk about before the activity is I want you to take 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and talk in your groups briefly about 2 things. Themes in general, okay? And themes that maybe you found as you read Antigone. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go ahead and just take like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and just talk about that with your groups, alright? You do have a theme cheat sheet, remember? You don't have it? Were you here? Okay.
You can pull up the popular themes worksheet that I had.
Literally this. Okay, let's come back together. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna start. So the number wise is because I like randomness. So I don't like to call on people. I like to call on groups randomly. So you guys over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, right. So you remember the number. Group 4, which is here. Just one of you. Just tell me something that you guys talked about.
Change, power, necessity.
Yeah. Anything specific?
Yeah, where Creon's like saying thieves almost like Bell and then thieves not saying.
What? Gotcha. Did you guys unpack anything else? I didn't give you much time, so that's good. Good. Anybody else have anything similar to that, just out of curiosity? Alright, I'm going to call another group then. It's random, I'm not going to look. I think I paper cut myself. Group 5. Tell me one thing you guys talked about.
We said like family curse because it talks about how Oedipus like cursed the whole family a lot in it.
So it's just family curses in general. Cool. Anyone else have anything about that? So good. So one good thing that we have gotten out of this, I hope, is that there are a lot of options. It's not just like there's one theme in a piece, right? So you two had totally different things. And no one else seemed to touch on the same things. But I want to hop in a little bit. I want to dive a little deeper into themes. and I want to talk about, I don't want to muddy the waters too much, but I want to talk about themes, a theme versus a topic, okay? So right off the bat, I hope that you already kind of know, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we have a long activity, it's probably going to take 2 days, but I'll go ahead and give you what I have as a definition for each of these, okay? And it might be worth writing down or at least noting. A theme is the big idea. That's it, just kind of broken down to a molecular level. And topic is a subject or an idea. What do you think I mean with the difference? What do you think the difference between the idea and an idea is? Okay, yeah.
The main thing and then the like overlying or underlying thing.
Yeah, exactly. So the theme is overarching, right? It encompasses the whole piece. And while a piece can have many themes, it would probably have a lot more topics. The best way for me to remember this, because this trips up a lot of people, even in university. I mean, I see it all the time. It's a professor will ask for a theme, and someone will just list a bunch of topics and kind of miss the point. But the best way for me to remember this is that a theme is what the author wants you to know. So it's the takeaway. It's the point, right? So the author's saying something and they want you to take, after you're done reading, they want you to take that away with you. So what I want to do now is about 30 seconds in your groups. I want you just to talk in your groups about what I just tossed up on the board, okay? Just talk about it with each other. Explain it to each other, unpack it a little bit. 30 seconds.
Expand the logic of this topic is what can be part of.
Okay, group 2. Tell me one thing you guys talked about.
These topics can all make up the theme.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
The topics can all make up the theme.
Right, okay. Yeah, they kind of like, I picture them in my head, I'm really like a visual learner, I picture them kind of topics branching out away from a theme. That makes perfect sense. So again, a theme is an overarching statement. So how many people are familiar with the novel Moby Dick? Right, like the big, the white whale and everything. So Captain Ahab lost his leg, right? And then he wants to go find this big fish, but it's not a fish, it's a whale, it's a mammal, but forget all that. And he wants to get revenge, right? So the theme of Moby Dick is not whales. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but people would write that, you know. So it doesn't work. So I have a trick that I wanted to show you that I think works really well. Is everyone okay if I erase this? This makes sense. Okay. So the trick that I have is when I'm coming up with a theme, to make sure that I have a fully formed theme, not just a random topic. I'll write the beginning of a sentence, and I'll say, I'll put in quotes, because this is what I do. The author seems to say that, okay? And then what I'll do after that is put in what I think the theme is. Now, if we're talking about Moby Dick, and I, in my mind, think that the theme of Moby Dick is whales, I would write, the author seems to say that whales. Right? So it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So what I would say instead is, okay, I'm reading this, and this guy had his leg bitten off by a whale, and he's spending his entire life trying to get revenge against this whale. Well, I can't say that the author is trying to say revenge. It doesn't make any sense either. So what I can say is a theme of Moby Dick is the author seems to say that man's relationship with animals is complicated. That's a theme. You know, it's an idea. It's fleshed out. So instead of saying revenge, I would say, instead of saying the author seems to say that man's relationship, the author seems to say that revenge, I would say the author seems to say that revenge is fatalistic, right? Because, spoiler alert, it doesn't go very well for Captain Ahab in the end. So it's a phrase. It's not just necessarily just a word. The Wizard of Oz. I'll give you one more example. The Wizard of Oz. Has everyone seen that or familiar with the story? Right? So, rather than taking the time, I mean, what are some aspects of Wizard of Oz? Just toss out the words that come to your mind when you think about the Wizard of Oz. Witches? Yeah. Well, okay. Where's Dorothy from?
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. The author seems to say that Kansas. Doesn't work. It's not a fully formed idea. But what do I say? The author seems to say that. Yeah, he said it. There's no place like Kansas. No, I'm kidding. Like home. Right? So that's the theme. That's an idea that the author seems to want you to take away. You know what? Take 30 and talk about that. Talk about that in your groups, okay? 30 seconds. Don't just talk about Wizard of Oz. Talk about the fully fleshed theme.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be able to write it.
Says she was like arguing with like the family or something. And then she
Okay, group 3. What did you guys talk about?
Well, we kind of just we already chose themes, so we just tried to put it in a sentence like the author seems to say that. We came up with one for Anthony.
Oh, okay. Well, good. You know, you'll probably be able to use that on our assignment. So then it makes sense. You know, just for the sake of our activity, I had another little mini activity I was going to do, but instead I'll just do it here with you. So we're talking about like the little engine that could. Everybody knows that story, I mean, for the most part. I would say, as I was going to have you guys come up with this, but if I'm just doing it off the top of my head, I would say that determination would be a topic within that, right? So how could we turn that into, because we can't just say the author seems to say that determination, right? So how could we turn that into just kind of group thinkingness? How could we turn that into a theme?
If you persist, you will reach your goal.
So never give up, I guess, or yeah, right. Slow and steady wins the race, things like that. So if we were to write that, if we're trying to come up with a theme, if I asked you to come up with a theme, I don't think you need to write the author says that slow and this is more the tortoise and the hare, I suppose. But same idea. Wins the race. You don't need this beginning part. So part of this activity is, I'll tell you what, this will make even more sense. I'll put it over here. So this is just an exercise that I showed you. The author says that. That's just to make sure that what you have is a full idea. Okay, you can delete that out. You can cross it out. So the theme is slow and steady wins the race. That makes sense. Boil it down to that. Boil it down to the idea. You don't need the author says that. I just want to throw that out there, just so you know. So we have an activity, and it relates to Antigone directly. What we're going to do, actually, I'll tell you what. would you mind passing one of these out to everyone on this side of the room? And would you mind passing one of these out to everyone else on this side? Just bring me the extras when you can. In your group, you're gonna have a station. And at each station, what I have on a sheet here, each station has a different topic. And don't look at these yet, let's not get too lost in the weeds yet. But each station has a topic and an explanation, okay? So, you'll read the topic and explanation, and it does relate to Antigone. And what you'll do is, you also have a worksheet that you're gonna fill out. And let me just explain, let me show you this worksheet. So, you have 3 columns on this worksheet. On column 1, it says theme. Okay, so all you need to do is read your sheet for your group, your topic, and your explanation, and write a theme for Antigone that relates to that topic. And there are lots of topics on there that we're going to be working with. In the second column, you will find a quote within Antigone. This is where your annotations will come in handy. Okay, I would like you to cite this. Okay, put the page number on there. That's good practice, okay? And then you have the third column, which is a 2 to 5 sentence explanation of why you chose that quote, how it relates to the theme. Does that make sense? Take a minute and explain that to each other. Talk about it. Talk about what we're going to do and see if you guys have any questions, okay? I'm going to pass the rest of this out. One page per people, okay? And then we're going to rotate groups. We'll rotate the station. One page. Make sure everyone puts their names on this sheet. Okay, let's come back together one quick second before we get started. Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing? You can refer, hold on, up here please. You can refer to this. Okay, this is your activity sheet. If you have any questions, obviously I'm here, I'm going to be around. But if you have any questions, you can refer to this and it should answer them, okay? So we're going to try to time the stations. We only have about 25 minutes left, so this will bleed into tomorrow. Let's just see how it goes. Let's go around like 8 minutes or so per station. We'll see how that works out. But go ahead and get started, and I'll be around if you have any questions, okay? Yep, one, yeah, you'll just be rotating. Okay, yeah. So just focus on the arrow. You're supposed to get like a second.
Yeah, I agree.
So how? I'm gonna camp out. You don't have your votes? Do you want your checks, please? Did you take page numbers on your? Well, I would say just use whatever notes you have. And it's not gonna match up. No, that's okay. That's okay. I should, you know what? Honestly, I should have told you this in the textbook. I just assumed that you guys did. It wouldn't. Yeah, we're gonna finish this tomorrow. I'll make a note to everyone. So what do we have? We're at determination. Okay.
We're gonna say when Antigone was talking to her sister about that, and I'm gonna do it burying her daughter.
Right. Okay. Great. And so, what did you? How are you working with him? So you're using the formula that we have of what the author's trying to say, how we were in
It talks where she talks about her feelings that
Wait, what?
are set on doing
Yeah.
Important theme?
That works, yeah. Well, right, but I mean, that's the theme, yeah. That's a fully formed idea.
what shape of your father's skin was your weakness. We don't touch it last that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I like you can say that on the mic course, it says, what shape of your father's guilt appears in this, and then you see it says you have touched it at last, the vital button.
Also, if you didn't bring your textbook, we can work out the page numbers some other way. But just use your notes then if you didn't bring your text.
To talk about faith, it's explaining.
So how would you reword that into a theme like I talked about? So the author is trying to say, yeah, just reword it into a fully formed theme. Take column 1.
Fate and free will is yours?
Yeah. And reword column 1 if you haven't already into a fully formed idea like a theme. You know, the author says that. What are they trying to say? Cool. Yeah.
That's when they're talking to each other. No, that's like towards the end of it.
Say what you want. Say it. Say it.
Dude. Yeah, I do. What's even weird?
So finding quotes the big for this one?
Conor McGregor looks like Mount Hope.
Okay, cool.
He's
Oh, okay.
great.
I think the best way to go about that would be,
Explanation.
so you know the topic, Law and Order. Think about what parts of the story pertain to Law and Order, maybe find a passage, and then you might be able to draw a theme out of that. Does that make sense? So instead of racking your brain trying to come up with what the theme might be, maybe find your evidence first and then work backwards. Does that make sense? So what comes to mind, like when you think about Law and Order, and think of what particular moments come to mind? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Good idea. Good idea.
He's saying, like, I've done no wrong, I'm not sinful, God. She's like, I was just trying to be nice to my
Sure. So, I wonder if the author is saying something about this person's spiritual law versus law in this society.
Yeah, over here, like, divine religious law.
Yeah.
I don't understand this, like,
So there's a conflict between what this person feels is their spiritual law and what this person feels the societal law is.
And then she comes
Does that help
alive
get
right after
some
she,
kind of
he
theme
died,
started?
and then she.
I feel like we want more with the,
That was such a bad book.
now we betrayed.
Right. So what do you think the author's trying to say about that? Like if that's in there for a reason, the author's trying to point at that for some reason. And you don't have to take a side in it. You just have to think like, well, it seems like the author's trying to say whatever the conflict is.
John Steinbeck.
And you could even simplify it if you wanted to say like, the author's trying to say that
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
sometimes God's law is in conflict with man's law. You know, you put it in quotes.
Oh, that was
Something like along those lines. I think that would work and that would get you started. Yeah. How are we doing? Oh, you guys are on time. Oh, jeez, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me check on everyone else, and we still have, you guys still have like 4 minutes, 3-4 minutes. See where we are. You guys are pretty good. How are you doing? Oof. Oh, no. That's like, one time I went to the dentist and he goes, oh. Oh, no.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, you could write it.
I mean,
Yeah, Conor McGregor.
right, so,
My words that
just make a note about who you are, it's not like you have to agree with it.
I'm not going to
And
respect
that's, you don't even know that that's the author's opinion, but it's piece, which is.
Never watched
women
it.
have to be supported.
No, no. No, do this.
Cool, so we'll let everyone else wrap up.
It's like the same. Don't you?
We'll just take a couple more minutes and switch.
It's a little bit different, but the weird's still the same.
Shoot again. I love that sound. Do it again. What'd you press? When? Tomorrow?
What kind of thing?
Tomorrow.
Oh, great, perfect, yeah, you guys did, perfect. Yeah, because that makes sense in the context of the author trying to say, it's easier to do this better.
Hello,
And you found a
what?
quote that backs that up.
Oh, I thought you meant today was
That's
Friday.
it, that's all there is.
What?
Cool, once you guys get your, argumentative sentence, move on. Good work, good work.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to move on to reading something a little less depressing.
What are we doing?
No, I was gonna say, I was looking at next semester, some of the stuff we're reading, and it doesn't get.
What is it?
Well, next semester we'll be reading Kite Runner, and we're still doing Things Fall Apart, right? Yeah.
I think
So,
I've read that.
yeah. But we'll end with a poetry, so. It doesn't have to be the same.
Sad poetry.
And what did you guys end up with? Awesome, that's perfect. That's perfect.
He's done. No, that's. Maybe they'll follow my overall. So do we need to write anything?
Why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and switch groups. And then you guys can come up with your explanation. Okay, so let's do this. Hold on, before anybody moves, let's just leave your paper that has the topic on it. Take the sheet you're working on, and everybody moves in this direction. Here, 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 and you guys go.
We move.
Okay, okay, hold on. There's an addendum on the table. So here's what we can do. We can pass the papers if you don't want to move your stuff. I thought it'd be fun to move, but I'm a little weird. Okay, let's pass the papers, and you can stay in your seats. And then give me 5.
Check.
Wait, is that 5? Okay, I'll take 5.
And
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, so
How would you read this one?
everyone have a paper? Okay,
Feminine.
follow the same formula we've been working on, okay?
That's close.
Crayons?
What do we have this time? Law and Order, okay. Any parts of the book come to mind with the story?
When the messenger comes back telling you that he didn't do it and the brother was kind of buried in dust and he yells at him to away and the person is basically that he's like just showing his power.
Creon.
Oh, so you already have an idea for a theme, the reworded theme?
Yeah, you have to follow all the ways.
Okay, there you go, perfect. I love it. You guys are going fast.
Got this.
Yeah, you guys just got it like
To
that.
say that.
Yeah.
You should have just played it off like, dude, I wrote that.
You're right.
Part of it is the like
Dude, it's one of those optical illusions where it looks like 3 different people.
Yeah, they just
Different angles.
Yeah,
You're right. It is just reality.
You're like, we're not burying you. Yeah. Cool, so, what do you have? Yeah, just formulate that into a thing. You can do that. Think of a, whatever passage
You're not
in
asking
the
like,
script, or I guess,
you're acting like
in
an
the story makes you think of that, that's a good way to work backward, right? So you find, oh, that reminds me of this, oh, what's that saying? You know?
Yeah, I said the opposite to say that the subservient role of women in society is not realistic. Chicken challenges crayons.
I think the word was such. I agree. No, that's not Rion's view of German.
If we're gonna go with,
For a quote.
yeah, she's a family friend, like, of my family. Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a part where, in that scene that I wrote, where Creon was saying
What if we do the, where she tells me, it's like, well, we're women, and
oh, is that
as your education.
yeah, I'm just like
oh, yeah.
literally this morning.
Creon's not in that scene, right?
That works, I think you can find a lot of quotes for that.
No matter what men's
Oh, no.
No, I'm trying to say like no matter.
Oh, that's right.
Don't let me forget to collect your annotations, I'm already nervous.
Select our
Yeah.
annotations.
Thank
Wait,
you.
mine's on Google Classroom.
Okay.
Google Classroom, it's on Google Docs.
Yeah.
You need to check your weekly schedule, because it says on there, summative collection, make sure they're printed out today.
Well, the guy in the video saying.
You can print it and bring it, at the end of class.
I usually print it, I can't even turn it.
What is it?
Andrew?
Is it the first or second annotation?
The last one,
The last one?
the end.
Oh,
it's the next one?
Yes.
So where are we on this? Did we find a quote?
Why are we supposed to print it?
yeah, that's really
Like she. Oh, thank you for the clarification.
Oh yeah, and she said like if it's my time to go, then I'm.
Your math homework?
Everyone does.
I'm pretty sure this is a good quote.
Is anybody stuck? Is everybody able, are we working well? How are we here?
We're trying to find a quote, but we, I
And I
think it's probably in the
yeah,
conversation.
that's what it is.
Please, as many, as many.
like they're like, no, we're women, you can't like.
Yeah.
Should know what this is.
Did anyone?
Four to Exodus.
When she's first out.
No.
And like brought.
I did nothing.
Time in the
Yeah, I did that.
Something about,
Yeah, right.
I feel like
I'm
it's
only
not
one,
at all.
and it's on my mind now, so it's my time to go, it's really no hardship. Cause I can.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I can read it.
He said, learn that from this.
Oh yeah, I am.
It's like describe
We can do that now.
What time, we're out at 16? We only have about 5 more minutes left today.
Maybe it's you can see.
Wait, here it is.